Okay, I think we're live. Um, yeah, looks like it to me. I think we are live. Can everybody see me and hear me? Okay. All right. I think we are good. What's up, everybody? Okay. So, we're going to give people a couple minutes to gather. Usually I start the stream like 5 minutes early, but couldn't do that tonight. Very, very frustrating sequence in the Mariners game just now, by the way. Like, you guys have no idea. But 1-0 lead regardless. Boy. Okay. Okay. Here we go, people. Got almost 40 people in here now. We're building up. So apparently Cooper Kupp left practice early today and didn't return. No updates yet on what happened. That's worth monitoring. But yeah. Okay, the chat on screen's working for now, so that's good. Hopefully it holds. Okay, we got 40 people in here, so let's go ahead and start opening it up. Good evening, everybody. Thought it was just time to do another general Seahawks stream. We are a little less than a week into training camp now. Seen a fair amount of stuff happening out there on the field. We've gotten some news, some updates, some encouraging signs, some bad signs, some good stuff, some bad stuff. And we're getting very, very close to the point where things start to become more concrete. We are 2 days away from the Hall of Fame game, and we are 3 days away from the mock game, and we are 9 days away from the first Seahawks preseason game. So, some of the things that have been going on so far. Obviously, the big news right now that everyone's kind of on pins and needles about are these running back injuries. We still haven't gotten any update on them, but Kenneth Walker has a groin injury. The indication that I've gotten from listening to what Carol has to say about it and trying to judge based purely off his language, I get the sense that K9 is going to be fine in terms of he'll be ready to play well before week one, but it is a groin injury, so the concern is that he may not be ready to go at 100% at any point this season. Like, he could play, but is he playing at less than 100%? Is he not going to bring everything that he typically is able to bring? That's very possible. Um, Charbonnet, I'm not so sure about. I have no idea what's going on with Charbonnet, but he is also out. I don't have any real news about that, just the fact that he is, for the moment, out. So hopefully we get some good news about both those guys in the coming days. That's the big thing going on right now, obviously. Um, One thing that should be highlighted from the last couple days of training camp in particular is the defense looks good. The defense has actually been playing quite well. Draymond's been looking really good. Nwosu's apparently looked fantastic. Mafe looks really good. Cam Young actually made a nice play in the one-on-ones today. That caught my attention because he's not really a pass rusher, but he actually got penetration on one play. The secondary's playing better. Like Witherspoon had his best day of training camp so far. And of course, we're still getting good things from Mike Jackson. Supposedly, we're still getting good things from Julian Love. He had an interception today of Geno. So the defense actually is playing quite well. Not that they're shutting down the offense, which is something that happened quite a bit in previous years, where the offense would just be lagging way behind the defense and it was killing us. That's not the case right now, I don't think. But the defense is holding their own. JSN can't go a single day without making people freak out about how good he looks. So a lot of stuff to be excited about there. And that's the main wrap up, I think, about the way things are going right now. I think those are the big highlights, the things that we should really be thinking about as fans right now. And it's mostly good news, although injuries always suck, but injuries are part of it. Disley was back today, by the way. Um, some of the little things that are happening at training camp so far that are kind of interesting would include like V Jones, who apparently looks much better this year. There's an opportunity for V Jones to maybe play some this year on defense, so definitely don't rule that out. Don't rule out the possibility that V Jones ends up playing a meaningful role for the defense this year, and he looks supposedly a lot better. I think he's put on some muscle. He's looking good. All right, so that's most of the stuff that's going on. I don't think we're in the market for any big trades. I don't think we're in the market to get any big free agents except for Shelby Harris. And again, I don't think Shelby Harris is going to sign until we get very close to the season because he doesn't want to mess around in training camp. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and start opening things up. We've got 80 people in the chat right now. Obviously, this is kind of a casual stream. This is not going to be a stream where we're very intensive about things because nothing huge happened today. It was all just kind of business as usual. Encouraging stuff, stuff that is worth talking about, but certainly stuff that it's not like somebody broke their leg today. It's not like somebody scored 8 touchdowns today. So I'm not expecting a ton of traction here, but it's good to meet up every now and then and have these discussions. All right, let's see here. So I'm going to go ahead and start opening it up to the chat. Like I said, we got about 81 people in here right now. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. I've set the August sub goal. As you can see, we are at 13,679. We're going to try to get to 1,400 by the end of the month. Very doable. Can definitely do it. We also have a member goal. We are currently at 114 channel members. So if you're not a channel member yet, it costs $2, $5, or $15. Your choice. We have a goal of 120, so we need 6 more members by the end of the month. You can also donate via Super Chat or tips. If you want to tip, click the link at the top of the description or do ! Tip in chat. Super Chat, you click the $ next to the chat. We have trackers over on the right side. I'm sorry, the left side of the screen to monitor all that. And you also get a custom GIF if you donate any kind, and if you donate, your comment is guaranteed to be read and addressed on stream. I'm going to address as many comments as I can otherwise, of course. And I think that is about it. So let's go ahead and start looking at some of this stuff here that you guys are saying. Hindsight is always 20/20, but I hated the Charbonnet pick. I'm of the belief that you don't draft a running back until the 4th at the earliest. I would have much rather drafted Siaka Ika in the 2nd. Yeah, Ika was not somebody that I liked that much by the start of the draft, but you know, the Charbonnet pick's interesting. I know it's not a great pick. I know fundamentally it's not a great pick, but I really do like Charbonnet as a player. I had a lot of fun watching him this year. I had a lot of fun following him, and he was definitely somebody on my radar for like a year before the draft. So seeing the Seahawks draft him was kind of cool, even though I acknowledged that it wasn't the best possible pick to make. So I'm kind of in the middle on that one. Like, I can't get too down on it because I do like the player a lot. Yeah, 14,000. Excuse me, Hawks06. My bad. Thank you for all the great content. Your effort is much appreciated. Well, thank you, Harrison Hill. I appreciate that. Bryant will be the starting nickel. I hope not. No knock to Kobe, but I want Witherspoon as the starting nickel. I think he's kind of perfect for that role. He's a little undersized, and he's also a really good tackler. Run support matters for nickel corners. Frequency, JSN going to be crucial in converting third downs. Just hate going three and out. Hopefully, Gino can increase his accuracy, but really looking forward to the season's offense. I mean, he probably will increase his accuracy in a manner of speaking, but he did kind of have one of the most accurate seasons in NFL history last year. He completed like 70% of his passes. Hard to increase that much. I think he might, but he was one of the most accurate QBs in NFL history last year. He was. 70% completion has happened only a handful of times in NFL history. Brendan has new channel member tier. Yeah, Austin, I do. Because I started doing like some documents and some write up stuff, and I decided to introduce a third tier, and members of that tier get access to those documents. I haven't done one in a while because there's been nothing to do. But I do have that third member tier now. Let's pump the brakes on the JSN hype, at least until he plays an actual game. People are talking like he's already headed for the Hall. Well, I get it. There's nothing wrong with thinking like that, but he's doing everything right so far. The snail is kind of the point here. There is no obstacle that has been put in front of him that he hasn't already overcome. Like every time there's an opportunity for him to do something impressive, he's doing it. So the hype, I think, is warranted. Now, everyone just has to realize that training camp's not the same thing as an actual game, especially with how good Kenny Mack has been looking. Well, we may be asking a lot of Kenny Mack this year for all we know. We may end up really needing all four of our running backs this year. How many sacks do you think Jay Reed is going to get a defensive tackle this year? Maybe like 4 or 5. I'm not expecting a ton from him, especially if he's going to play nose tackle a lot. If he's going to play nose tackle a lot, then there really aren't going to be that many sacks. Do you think we'll use Spoon in a lot of blitz packages? I don't get the sense that was a huge part of his skill set, but you always want to blitz your nickel corner a little bit. So you may see a little bit of that, yeah, just because if he's the nickel corner, then he's the guy. I just want Reek to have another great corner playing on the other side of the field. I'm convinced that Mike Jackson is all of a sudden going to become elite. I'd rather see Bryant there. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the perfect scenario would be Witherspoon to play outside in base and then inside in nickel. That way he's on the field all the time and it's also playing to his strengths. What's your prediction for starter in the 3-3-5 defense? Well, defensive line's going to be Draymond Jones, and I guess they're saying Jaron Reed and Mario Edwards. And by the way, Mario Edwards looked really good in camp today, so don't sleep on that guy. Linebackers are going to be Nwosu starting outside, Bobby starting in the middle, and the other outside linebacker is going to be Boye Mafe. And then the 5 is going to be pretty easy. Woolen, Witherspoon, Diggs, Adams, Love. Didn't Bryant get reps at safety? Yeah, he did, Connor. By the way, that may end up being his best position. That's very possible. He's not that fast, and he doesn't have a lot of quick twitch movement, I don't think. So I look at Kobe and I say maybe he'll be better as a safety because he is a ball hawk and he's really good at punching the ball out. He'll be able to do that even better if he's a safety, really. He sat out an entire season in college with a hamstring. He could be Percy Harvin 2.0. Well, yeah, of course, that's always possible, but anybody can get hurt. Anybody can get hurt. I don't think anybody's wrong to get excited about how good he looks, and they'll deal with the potential of an injury if and when it happens. But until then, why even trip? I mean, think about it this way. Rashad Penny never got injured once in a high school or college, and then he comes here and turns into a Mr. Glass. What was the bad guy's name in Unbreakable? Was it Dr. Glass or Mr. Glass? Whatever. So the opposite can happen, I guess, is the lesson there. I'm so excited for this season. I don't think we'll be great, but I like our future. Yeah, Austin, I think there's a lot to be excited about. Chances Julian Love has a breakout year in this defensive system. I think that Julian Love already broke out last year. He had like 140 tackles last year. He was really good. On a good defense, by the way. No Mike Jackson. I think Mike Jackson will be the nickel outside corner, but I don't think he'll be there in base. Bryant could be the free safety after Diggs is gone. I saw your salary cap video, and this could be Diggs' last year. I think it all depends on how Diggs plays. If he doesn't play very well, then yeah, you're probably right. And Bryant could absolutely be the next guy. Yeah, big country. I'm not happy about that one. I'm not talking about that one though. I'm The good news is apparently the Astros now have the worst farm in Major League Baseball. So they paid for it, but I'm very annoyed right now. Yes, Hawk Zero. I saw the Cooper Cup thing, but do we know anything more yet? All I know is that he left practice and didn't come back. With the competition of Spoon and Mike Jackson being so high, do you think we will see a lot of preseason snaps from them? Obviously not the whole game, but do you think it will be more than usual? Um, you would think so, right? Like Woolen's probably going to take it very easy in the preseason. Woolen's probably going to be very chill because he's coming off that injury, so that means more snaps for guys like Jackson and Spoon. I do think Tariq will be practicing soon. Revry, apparently he got the thing off his leg, but I don't know if we're gonna rush into it with him. You think Seahawks trade for D line help? No, I think we just signed Shelby Harris or some equivalent like Matt Ioannidis, Akeem Hicks, somebody who's only going to cost a couple $1,000,000. I heard Gino ain't looking that good, and I haven't heard that. He's had a few interceptions, but he's also made a lot of really good throws and really good plays. And Gino's never going to be a guy who has like 3 or 4 interceptions over the course of a season, like the way Aaron Rodgers and Brady and to a certain extent old Russell Wilson too could do. Like that's just not going to be him. But I don't think Gino's going to be like a super turnover machine either. So I think Gino's fine. Been fine so far in camp from what I can glean. Ava, welcome. How you doing tonight? Good to see you, Ava. Robert Cooper is back. Yeah, I talked about that a little bit earlier on the video, Michael. I liked Robert Cooper a lot when we picked him up, and I was kind of disappointed when he got released so early, but I think he could actually have a non trivial role in this defense in 2023. I really do. Right now, which Seahawks RB would you take into fantasy? Oh, pretty easily K9. Like, that's not even hard. I don't think any other Seahawks running back is even really draftable. Everyone throws INTs during the camps. It's not a big deal. Yeah, exactly. Like, don't even trip. Gino's going to be fine. He's in such a good situation right now in most areas that unless he's like really, really bad, he'll be fine this year. It's just hard for me to believe that Mike Jackson just became this elite defender over one off season and for Seattle to draft a top 5 nickel corner, maybe use the hype for Jackson to trade for like a 5. Oh, Lalo, thank you for the $1.99. And that was Lalo's comment just now, actually. Um, I mean, I don't think Jackson's elite now. I just think Jackson's improved. And if Jackson improves, then he's a good player. That's a quality player. But I have no doubt that Witherspoon has a much higher upside. Thank you for the $1.99, Lalo. Appreciate it. Am I pronouncing that right? Yeah, I wait a minute. I don't see a sticker. Yeah, I don't see a sticker. But regardless, thank you for the $1.99, Lalo. Do you think Charles Cross is going to have a Pro Bowl level season? No, probably not, because to make the Pro Bowl, you have to be one of the 2 best left tackles in the NFC. And the NFC has Jordan Maitala and Trent Williams. Those guys are clearly better than Cross has any realistic chance to be this year. But he can be a much improved one. Did you see the Twitter video of D. Eskridge beating Spoon on a 1-on-1 but then dropped the pass? Come on, D. I did not see that one. I missed that one. I saw the Spoon. I heard about the Spoon play where he locked up on Lockett. Did not see the Eskridge one. I mean, I don't know what to do about the Eskridge thing anymore, man. Like, they're hyping him up so much. It's hard not to fall back in. Lane Johnson's a right tackle, Revry. So he wouldn't be competing against Lane Johnson, but he is competing against Jordan Maitala. I think that's how you pronounce it. He didn't drop it. Spoon got a hand on it. Okay, I'm going to look for this clip later. Because I know Spoon had a really good day today. Diego, so excited to see your channel back to daily videos, man. You have the best Seahawks channel, hands down. Thank you, Diego. I appreciate that. With the hype around Michael Jackson along with his play last year, do you think we could get a fifth or sixth in a trade from the right team? Yeah, but I don't really want to trade him. I think he's good, and I want to capitalize on his ability to play because I want this team to do well this year. Oh, yeah, Andrew Thomas is another one. Andrew Thomas is probably going to be significantly better than Cross this year. Let's see your predictions for starter on the offense. I mean, the offensive line's really easy. I think Brown and Haynes start at center and right guard, and everything else is a slam dunk. Quarterback's easy. Running back's easy. Receivers, like, everything on the offense is super easy, Lalo, when you think about it. Because, like, who's going to lose their starting job on the offense? Noah Fant? No. Especially if Disley's not at 100% already. You really, Max, you really think we will have below average offensive line? Yeah, almost certainly. It would, if the offensive line is average this year, they made a massive step up. There are a lot of really good offensive lines in the league right now, guys. You got to keep that in mind. Haynes, but the only guy Haynes can lose his job to is Bradford, right? And Bradford's not going to take that job, I don't think. He's too inexperienced. How significant do you think the Zach Charbonnet injury is? I'm kind of getting the sense it could be fairly significant, but I'm not really basing that off anything concrete. Just kind of a weird feeling. I'd rather Seattle keep Landers and Bobo over Eskridge. Well, I think you could keep Landers and Bobo on the practice squad. So I think you could keep all three, but I do kind of agree that if you have to make a decision, I like Landers more. Like, I do like Landers a good amount. Max, will Spoon be better than Woolen? I seriously doubt it. Like, I think people are starting to forget how good Woolen was last year. Like, Woolen, it's not normal for any cornerback to be that good in coverage. The only thing that needs to get better is he's not good in run support. He's not a good tackler. But for Spoon to be better than that, like, that's hard. That's really hard. So I don't think so. The Snail, do you think Landers would make it to the practice squad? I mean, he was a UDFA, right? There can't be that much desirability for him, so I think he has a shot of making it to the practice squad. Was Landers projected to be drafted? I'm not sure. I didn't see his name very much, but he didn't get drafted. That's really all I can say about it. Hopefully not, but if Gino gets hurt, do you think Locke can keep us going even if the rest of our offensive starters are healthy throughout the year? I mean, the turnovers would go way up, probably. But we would probably still score points because it is a pretty stacked offense. There's usually a surprise cut every year. Do you have any predictions on who? Um, I don't really have anybody who I think is going to get cut. But, I mean, could it be somebody like a Devin Bush? Could it be somebody like a Drew Lock? Could it be somebody like Evan Brown? I don't think any of them are going to get cut, but it'd probably be somebody like that, right? Does Derek Young count? He's fighting for his life right now. Do you think we should be signing a third down running back to replace Charbonnet's role while we wait for him to get healthy? Someone like a Kareem Hunt? You don't sign Kareem Hunt for training camp. You only sign Kareem Hunt if you know pretty much for sure that Charbonnet is going to miss a lot of time. You don't sign Kareem Hunt for training camp. He wouldn't be okay with that. You don't need to worry about signing a high profile running back until you get close to the season and you feel like he's going to miss. Do we have a timetable on Jamal Adams? No, not that I've heard. What are you most excited for this year? Probably the receiver core. Devin Bush, I think, is a good choice. Derek Young is a main specials guy and a utility player on offense. Yeah, probably, but the receiver room is very, very intense right now. I've heard the opposite, Spudsmack. I've heard Trey Lance looks terrible. 49ers are going to have at least three quarterbacks, yeah. Looking at the schedule, which one game do you think we should likely lose? I mean, the candidates for that would be like the Bengals game, either 49ers game, the Eagles game. It just kind of depends on your perspective. Something like that. The receiver room is always overhyped in the preseason. We know we have three good ones, and the rest are a bunch of Jags. Yeah, probably, but they're still intriguing, right? Even a guy like Eskridge, as much as we're all sick of him, is kind of intriguing because of his draft status. Joe's not going to be hurt. I mean, Joe might miss the first game, but he's not missing that game. There's no way. And it's on the road, too. Right after a Monday night game for the Seahawks. Like that's a bad recipe. Hey, Seahawks fan one. Is it after our bye? Okay. Well, either way, I don't think there's any way we can reasonably expect to win that game. Any breakout candidates? Plenty. Plenty. Where do we even start there? Lockett, Metcalf, JSN, Young, then Johnson, Eskridge, Landers, Thompson, and Bobo all fighting for the fifth spot. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it, Snail. If I had to guess, I'd say something like that. You see the Julian Love pick? I heard about it. I didn't see it. Fun family. I heard about it though. Sounds pretty cool. But, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think that the key to this defense this year is going to be turnovers. We need to force turnovers at a pretty high clip. So hopefully we can do that because I don't think our defense is going to be great at the snap to snap day to day stopping other offenses. Yeah, Miff Turtle. I was thinking about that the other day. Haven't heard a Seahawks draft choice get as much hype as JSN has been in a while. Like, when was the last time we had a draft pick get this much hype in training camp? I feel like it's never happened like this before. Edgar Martinez, I actually made a video about that the other day. I think he can do it. I think the player's fine. Question is, can we structure the offense properly? That's going to be the hard part. Christensen, Michael? Probably not. I don't even remember Russell Wilson getting this much hype from training camp. Man, once the preseason started, that was different. But training camp? I think JSN has him beat. The Love pick was a terrible throwing decision by Gino. I mean, he is going to have a few of those. Like, I think we all need to make our peace with that. He's going to throw 10 to 12 interceptions this year. Tough day for Eskridge. He also got popped by Spoon. Reporters are saying Seattle is practicing more physically than usual, and I'm all for it. I mean, that's kind of the interesting thing, right? Like last year, Denver basically had the softest training camp of all time, where they didn't make anybody work hard. There was no tackling. The starters didn't play at all in the preseason. Like it was the softest training camp you can ever imagine. And then everybody got hurt anyway. So maybe there's just no point to playing like that. Maybe there's just no point in hoping that that'll keep you from getting hurt. Maybe you're better off just going at it and hoping things work out. Why are people low on the Niners this year? I've seen a bunch of people predicting them to be worse than last year. I mean, the only thing that I can really think of is that between Garoppolo and Purdy, they got really high level quarterback play from some bad quarterbacks, and maybe people are viewing that as fluky. And this year, that's going to revert towards the mean a little bit, and they're going to get lesser QB play, meaning that, yeah. And Bryce Miller loads the bases with no outs by hitting Duval after getting 2 strikes on him. Super cool. Did you hear about Russell Wilson training camp? He looks bad with the new coach. I have not heard that, no, bro. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard very much about Wilson in camp at all. So I don't know where that comes from. Do you think we can be as competitive as the 49ers? Probably not. The Niners have the best defense in the league, I think. I don't see that. I don't see us overcoming that. Do you think that Woolen will become a good tackler? I kind of do. He's big enough, and it seems like the will to be a good tackler is there. They said Wilson looked bad, but Peyton is making him better. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that stuff. Oh, wow. So, speaking of Denver, Ioma Uwazurike placed 32 bets on Broncos games and players last year. So it wasn't just one bet, it was 32 bets. So he should probably be suspended for the rest of his life, right? Because they would have suspended him for the whole year if it was one bet. So just make it a lifetime suspension at that point. Like, what is wrong with you? Is McIntosh 40 times that much slower than Chris Carson's? Is it possible 40 times are overblown for running back? I mean, I don't think 40 times are overblown for running back, Snail, but I do think McIntosh just ran a bad 40, and it's not indicative of what he is as a player. So I'm not looking at that and going like, oh, he sucks now. I think he just ran a bad 40. Cup got injured. I seen him catch a pass from Stetson Bennett today. He apparently got injured like less than an hour ago. For those of you who maybe don't remember, Uzorike, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Uzorike is the other player Denver got in the Wilson trade because they also got a pick back. And that pick became Uzorike. So his career feels like it's basically already over. So that's not bailing out the trade. I feel like Spoon is getting burnt by all of our wide receivers. That's not what I've been hearing. I actually heard he had a really good day today. Um, Remember, guys, he's behind the 8 ball a little bit because he missed the first 2 days. He's going to be lagging behind a little bit because he missed the first 2 days. And now he's in there. And by the time the season starts, he should be all caught up. But for the moment, he is lagging behind. Man, I hope he won a lot of money because that's the only way it would be worth it. I don't think we're beating the Niners this year. I still think it's a bad matchup. Yeah, Denver fans are quiet right now, Rev Ryan, aren't they? Which running backs got injured? The top two ones, Chicken Master, K9 and Charbonnet, are both hurt right now. How much do you think we will see Spoon in the preseason? Probably quite a bit, right? Like, he needs the reps. You think the Niners sweep up us? Yeah, I do. I think it's a bad matchup. Wow, can zone. Way to jog to that fly ball and then miss it by 6 inches, you loser. Nice. Way to make a nice first impression in your first ever Mariners game, you loser. You pop up with the bases loaded and no outs, and then you completely blow a play in the outfield. I saw you giving no effort. Don't think I don't notice. How much do you think Cross improves? Pretty significantly. Like, he was 21 last year. He's 22 now. That's a big deal. Russ is not making the Hall of Fame, Seahawks fan one. Not even close. As of right now, he shouldn't even get a vote. Yeah, Cross looked good today. Taylor beat him in one-on-one snap, but Taylor always looks good in training camp too, by the way. For Wilson to make the Hall of Fame, he's going to have to turn it around pretty significantly. He's going to have to change the trajectory of his career significantly. Teo's resting. I don't think he's injured. Well, they have to, Rev Rye. What are they going to do? Not pay him? They can't do anything else. They have to pay him. So that's just the cost of doing business. If you don't like it, then sell the team to somebody who will pay players. Yeah, I saw Sherman at camp today. Yeah, if Wilson makes the Hall of Fame with the way his career trajectory is, then you probably have to put Joe Flacco in as well. Like, what's the difference? Yeah, and Russ's prime didn't result in anything, Ginny, is the thing. No deep playoff runs, there ain't no rings. So people aren't going to give him credit for that. And by the way, a lot of the Hall of Fame voters are probably now going to come out and say things like, oh, Wilson was never good. Carroll just made him look good. Stuff like that. That's what some people are going to say. It's too much. He's not getting in unless he revitalizes his career. How's Devin Bush doing? I haven't heard too much about Devin Bush one way or the other. Um, but seems like he's doing reasonably well from what I can piece together. I think Marshawn should make it in. I don't think that he will, but Marshawn should make it in. I think Sean Alexander and Marshawn Lynch should both make the Hall of Fame pretty easily when you look at what they did, but I don't think they will. And if they don't, then I don't see how Wilson does. Who has done bad in camp besides rookies? Let me think here. Who have I heard has been doing kind of bad in camp? I mean, some people were saying Witherspoon, but that was overblown. How many more 1,000-yard seasons does Lockett to be a solid candidate for Hall of Fame? I think he needs a lot more. It's hard for receivers to get into the Hall of Fame. I think he would need to do a lot more than he can reasonably expect to do. Like, go look at Brandon Cooks. Like, Brandon Cooks has a much better Hall of Fame resume than Lockett, and I don't think Cooks is getting in. Yeah, Maffei's definitely going to be better than Taylor. If not, I would be very disappointed in Maffei, I think. Yeah, Kobe looks kind of bad in camp. I mean, Ginny, Drew Bledsoe was a top five QB for a 5 year period, too, and he's not getting in. Being a top five QB over an extended period of time is not going to cut it. Like, everything you just said also applies to Drew Bledsoe. I don't think Mike Jackson can be a slot corner. I don't think that's his skill set, Dalen. Bobby's going to get in the Hall of Fame 100%. Like, he's a top five middle linebacker in NFL history, I think. Kobe really has nowhere to play, really, once Jamal comes back. Yeah, I mean, Kobe might sit on the bench a lot this year, and that's fine. Kobe had a pretty good year last year, but he wasn't so over the top that we have to have him play. I'm fine with Earl not making it now because he did too much stupid stuff, but as a player, Earl definitely should have made it. 100%. But he did so much dumb stuff that he probably won't get in, and I'm okay with it. What he did was over the top. DK's on the Hall of Fame path. Like, only a few receivers in NFL history have had a better 4 year start than DK. Like, he is absolutely on that path. He just has to keep going. Kurt Bernard, have you been living under a rock? You haven't heard about the Earl stuff? He tried to kill his wife. He tried to poison his wife and kids. He almost, what was it? Did he commit suicide almost? Like, he had sex with his brother. Like God, I don't even know where to start with that, man. T.O. not being in is a joke. T.O. not being in is a joke. Like, legitimately a top three receiver in NFL history. Yeah, he did so much dumb stuff. As a player, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but he won't be. And he deserves to not be in. He did too much stupid stuff. By the way, guys, we got 43 likes on the stream right now. If you haven't had a chance yet, please like the stream. I think he tried to poison his wife and kids, Austin. Wasn't that the story? What do you think about our new O lineman Lucas, old teammate? I really like Abe Lucas. Yeah, I think Abe Lucas is going to be a really great right tackle. He might be a Pro Bowl right tackle when he gets to his prime. DK's barely a top 10 receiver. Well, I mean, there are a lot of really stellar receivers out there right now. Like, I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of right now. Like, he's not as good as Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, but those guys are a different kind. By the way, I'm really happy that the on screen stream chat is working still. So it seems like it's fine. The new guys are not making a good first impression. Rojas and Canzone both not doing it yet. I'm not a jersey guy, Danny boy. I did not buy a retro jersey. Michael Pennick's been reposting a lot of Seahawks stuff. You think we will end up drafting him, and Pete praised him heavily. I mean, it's possible. It's certainly on the table. I don't know. I kind of feel like as long as Gino has a good season, Pete's going to be very resistant to the idea of spending a high pick on a quarterback. So it kind of depends on that. Like maybe it would make sense to, but he wouldn't want to do it. It's sad because it truly felt like we had a load of future Hall of Fame players on those winning squads. Now just Bobby and Sherm. Well, if you look back throughout history, most teams, even like the dynasty teams, the great dynasties, only had a handful of Hall of Famers. Like it's hard to make the NFL Hall of Fame. It's not like the NBA Hall of Fame. Yeah, I like Cam Ward, and he's probably going to be there later. Cam Ward might actually be the guy. Like, you ever notice how John Schneider always says we want to take a quarterback in the draft every year, and lately we've just been not doing it, and then they never do it? Like, we haven't drafted a quarterback. Well, no, okay, we drafted Wilson, and then we drafted Alex Magoo, and that's it. So, like, he keeps saying we want to draft a quarterback every year, and then he never does. It's kind of become comical at this point. I think they like Drew Lock. Well, Drew Lock might be gone next year. He's a free agent. If somebody offers him a chance to start, I'm sure he's going to take it. Oh, 122 Tacoma. I see what you're saying. The new O lineman we just got that was Lucas' old teammate. Is he any good? I don't know. I don't know very much about him. I got not much to say about that. He wants to, then gets distracted. That's what I'm saying. That's what it feels like, right? Like it makes sense for them to potentially do it at some point and then they never do. You think the Seahawks really like Ward? I have no idea, but I know that I like him well enough. Malik Willis might be traded. For what? A ham sandwich? Malik Willis is terrible. Malik Willis is one of the worst QBs I've ever seen. Like, literally, all he does is run around in the pocket until someone sacks him. He just runs around in circles like he's playing Madden with a controller where all the buttons broke. Canzone is so bad in the outfield. Holy moly. He is awful, dude. This is not off to a good start. I'm a Huskies fan, Ivan, yeah. I don't know if we can make. Of course, we can make the NFC Championship. Is it realistic? That I don't think so. Trey Lance is. I mean, we wouldn't trade for Trey Lance. I like Trey Lance well enough, but I'm not trading for him. I've looked at the numbers. I really don't think we can trade for Chris Jones. I don't think that's on the table. Not really. Like, I've been looking at the numbers, and the way we would have to, in order to trade for Chris Jones, we would have to restructure Disley, restructure Jamal Adams. Like, you could do it, but it would hurt you so badly. Like, you could do it, but I don't think it's worth it anymore the more I think about it. Too bad we couldn't sign Zach Allen because we tried really hard to sign Zach Allen on top of Draymond. Kyle, learn how to spell his name. That's not even close. Oh, Bryce Miller's starting to get his head bashed in. That's cool. No, Dalen, restructuring Jamal Adams' contract is the worst thing you could do. We definitely don't want to do that. That is the absolute worst thing we could do. If we restructure Jamal Adams, then. Oh boy. The worst game I played as of late? Like, what do you mean by as of late? How recently would be as of late? Like, less than 2 years ago, I played Supra Marocrat. That was really bad. I think like less than 2 years ago, I played EDP Simulator. That was bad, but that was almost 2 years ago. I think Jamal Adams is going to play like 11 or 12 games this year. I haven't heard anything about Bobo or Landers in camp either. I don't know what it means though. They might just not be getting that much time. I really like Clowney, but there's no point anymore. I'm a Clowney fan, but there's no point. I liked Hogwarts Legacy. It was a good game, Snail. It doesn't run well on PC, unfortunately, but I liked it. I wish it had committed one way or the other in the gameplay style between BioWare and Dark Souls, but what they did was still pretty good. Do you think we can win the NFC West? I wouldn't bet on it, no. Thoughts on Chase Young? I don't really want him. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, I loved Clowney. Clowney was awesome. You think we play starters a lot in preseason? I don't know about a lot, but I think they play a pretty decent amount. I don't think it'll be anything too radical. Not too much. Hmm. What's about the most disappointing game that I looked forward to? Probably Back for Blood. Let's see here. New to gaming, Xbox versus PS5. What's the recommendation? I actually have never played the new Xbox. I have a PS5 and I'm perfectly happy with it. Yeah, over the last 2 years or so, probably Back for Blood. That game just wasn't very good. And everyone else hated it even more than I did, so it was impossible to find people to play with. So I just played it with bots. Do you have the Dual Sense Edge? Yeah, I do. Yeah, poor Ziggy. I actually liked the signing when we did it. I thought it was about the best thing we could do at that point. Yeah, Game Pass is better than PS Plus. I will that's definitely true. Game Pass is better than PS Plus. What's going on with K9? Nothing new. He's just sitting out. We don't know how bad it is. We don't know when he'll be back. Yeah, they need to fix PS Plus. I'm a PlayStation player and I don't even have it, I don't think. Well, I think I have PS Plus Basic or whatever. I don't have the premium, and normally I would get that kind of stuff, but no. Well, there's literally no such thing as an Xbox exclusive because all Xbox games end up on PC. So I'm not missing anything because I can play it on PC. Have a prediction record wise 11-6. Yeah, I remember that, Kyle. He was really bad. All right, I'm going to get off in a few minutes, guys. We went for about an hour. I think we talked about pretty much all the stuff that needs to be talked about. We're talking about 2019 now, so we probably exhausted it. But yeah, training camp's going, guys. Witherspoon's looking way better today. The defense is actually playing really well. Lockett, JSN looking good. Metcalf looking good. Defense in general, again, looking maybe a little bit better than expected. Uh, um, Hopefully these injured guys get out on the field soon. Yeah, I guess Ngakwe just can't stop the run. He must be atrocious in run defense. That's the only reason why people would hate him this much to where he can't even get on a team. It's crazy. Is Clint Hurt in the hot seat if the defense isn't at least average? I mean, I guess. But what do you really think Clint Hurt is doing? Like, what is Clint Hurt really doing on this team? Is he just standing around and clapping? That's probably a pretty big chunk of it. It's Pete's defense at the end of the day, right? Kyle, he's playing at a pretty good amount so far, so that sounds like a very realistic possibility, Kyle. What I'm really hoping is that Pete doesn't do the thing where he just wants to play veteran. He just wants to play his veterans. He doesn't want to play rookies because he doesn't trust them. Like this is remember Marquise Blair? That's what happened with Blair. He didn't trust Blair, even though Blair was clearly better than guys like Tedrick Thompson. He was like, I don't want to play Blair because I don't trust him, even though he was much better. So hopefully that's not the case with Witherspoon. But we did spend the number 5 pick on him, so hopefully not. Again, I think that Schneider's controlling our drafts now, so it's very possible we took a guy that Pete isn't a big fan of. Hey, Georgie. Well, sorry, Georgie, but I'm going to be getting off soon. Just got my birthday present, 16 by 20 end zone view of Metcalf chasing Buddha down. Oh, that's pretty cool, John. I like that. Too bad we lost that game, by the way. We absolutely should have won that game. Yeah, Kyle, he did. He trusted Tedrick Thompson more than he trusted Blair. And then Tedrick Thompson finally broke his trust in that Ravens game. So he finally benched Tedrick on the IR, but then he still didn't trust Blair, so he traded for Diggs. Like he just refused to play Blair. He just didn't like him. Spoon was a Pete pick and JSN was a JS pick. Hopefully, that's probably the ideal. Kind of, Austin. That was like the first sign of it. Did you talk about the Sarodoric Thompson signing? I mean, I don't really have anything to say about it, Georgie. Favorite Metcalf catch? I don't know. Maybe the one he made in his first ever game against the Bengals. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off now. We've been going for about an hour. I think that's about it. Thanks for hanging out. I think we got through everything we needed to get through, and I'm going to go ahead and pop off. I will be on Twitch later tonight doing more Final Fantasy 16 probably. So keep an eye out if you want to watch me play Final Fantasy 16. We're starting to get close to the end here. So I hope to see you guys in the later portions of the evening. More videos going up tomorrow. Thank you, and